Hey y'all, you're a rock star. Get the game on, go play. Okay, so check out my shirt. C3PO using R2D2 as a vinyl record player. It's up like that. Got that off Amazon a while back ago. So I thought, after seeing all the Star Wars movies, I'm not really seeing the holiday special, and I've seen what it is through YouTube videos. So this is how I feel. I think for the most part, I think this is somewhat accurate how I feel about all the movies. So I've jotted down all 11 Star Wars movies, the 9 episodic lineage movies that connect through the Skywalker saga. And some people say that's not a one whole complete saga. That's 3 trilogies, which it is. But I also included 2 of the anthology movies. So here we go. So I'm going to tell you why. Here we go. I was going to go right into it. Now, I thought Rise of Skywalker was going to be the last on the list, but apparently not. So from worst to best, being the worst, this is the highest number. So number 11, we're going with The Last Jedi. Just because there's a lot of things in it. Just off the bat, Luke throwing his lightsaber is not the Luke we all knew. Who the hell is Snoke? There's no explanation in it. There is explanation in The Rise of Skywalker, but still on answering questions. And Last Jedi, because that terrible half an hour Canto Bite scene, and oh my god, it's just like copy from paste, even more so than The Rise of Skywalker. Copy and paste. I saw a lot of similarities to the Return of the Jedi in Last Jedi, as the throne room scene with Snoke, this throne room scene with Luke, and Return of the Jedi. So that's that for me. And just the way they made Luke die at the end for me. He kind of redeemed himself, but yeah, I don't know. Anyway, number 10 for me is Solo, a Star Wars story. Now, no one asked for this movie to be made, and it kind of threw me off with the cameo that's in it. Spoiler if you haven't seen the movie, but Darth Maul is in it. Darth Maul dies at the end of Phantom Menace that came out in 1999, which is episode 4, but how it was renumbered again. Like when the first one came out, it was just called Star Wars, and then it became Star Wars Episode 4, New Hope. At the end of Phantom Menace in 1999, Darth Maul gets sliced in half, but I've not seen Clone Wars, but I know he's in Clone Wars. But then he eventually dies with a rematch of Obi-Wan Kenobi. So in some way, he's in Star Wars Solo. And just because it's so high on the list of not so good, because the actor who played him wasn't really like Harrison Ford. There was another guy that was like Harrison Ford that didn't get the job and should have, that I think played him in another movie. And it's kind of forgettable. I've only seen it once. And I didn't see it when I rewatched all the films leading up to 9. Number 9 is Rogue One. I liked Rogue One. It's unfortunate I put it so high up on the list. It wasn't really needed, but they managed to tell the story and fit it right into leading up to A New Hope, the first Star Wars movie. It was really good. But the downside of that was how they used Tarkin and Leia. I mean, Leia at the very end when she had her thing. It's just the CGI was good with Tarkin, and they could have just recasted someone to play Tarkin, like the guy who played Tarkin and did motion capture. which is really good. He got the voice down, like, you may fire and ready. And the little extended cameo of Darth Vader in there was like, wow. And I can't believe I have it high on the list. But there's so much other good, for me, Star Wars movies that I feel that are just good. So, and it's not just about action. I go in there for story development, how it's, how it is. And Star Wars is not the greatest movies in the world. It's not the greatest portrayed movies out there, as far as acting wise goes. But it's, for its time, it did some of the greatest things and revolutionized everything. So there's great things with Star Wars, and I'm a huge Star Wars fan. So anyway, so number 8 is The Rise of Skywalker. So why have it not as high as the other ones, as I've seen it twice now. There's actually some parts of the movie where I choked up with Han cameo that threw me off. I wasn't expecting that at all. And they did the best that they could with bringing back Carrie Fisher with probably 5 or 6, 7 scenes of unused footage, and they had to try and find a way to write around scenes of unused stuff that they used from 7 and 8 with her. So it was really good. And she kind of went the same way as Luke went, kind of used the strength of the Force to maybe even potentially project the memory of Han Solo with Ben Solo. And just the way that they brought back Emperor Palpatine, and at the end, like, I want to kill the Jedi and raise the granddaughter, and no, wait, I want you to kill me. I'm telling you what I want you to do, and then you don't do it. And they're like, oh, I could suck the life force out of you. So, yeah. And I thought the end of the Skywalker saga happened in Return of the Jedi. So episode 7 is number 7 for me. It's probably the best one from the episodes one that they've done. I love the performance Harrison Ford gave. It was his last one. He had his wish that he wanted Han Solo to die ever since the originals, and he got his wish. And he was in there quite a bit, more than the other cast. So episode 6 is Attack of the Clones. Yeah, I can't believe I have it that high. This doesn't really, it doesn't need to have to explain stuff with Count Dooku and where he was in it. There's books with that. I don't read the books. I don't need to read the books. But just Obi-Wan with his mullet and all the stuff that they're doing in there, it's like, yeah, you get to see Yoda fight. But yeah, I don't know what it's trying to do, honestly. So number 5 for me is actually episode 5, Empire Strikes Back. I liked the debut and how they first introduced Yoda, and that's kind of silly, like, mine. And then it turns out he's this Jedi Master and stuff like that. And it's kind of overrated at times, but the battle between Vader and Luke and finding out that that's him. It would have been a hell of a shock factor for people that hadn't seen the movie, who were around back then, and then figuring out that there's prequels and stuff later that George did later, which I wish he's still around doing for the movies, and then sell the rights. Number 4 is, actually, I didn't even plan this out, episode 4, A New Hope. It's just classic. It's very simple. It's got, originals in there. At the time, they weren't known, really, and it's got Alec Guinness playing older Obi-Wan Kenobi, and it's pretty good. It's kind of slow, but you can't knock the traditional of Star Wars, and I really like it. So um, simple. It's kind of got that, kind of traditional mythological fantasy element to it, just kind of how it used to be, right? So the simplified telling of good and evil at the end. So number 3 is Return of the Jedi. I just like how Luke confronts his father and brings him to the good side and throws him down the shaft, or Vader eventually throws down Emperor Palpatine down the shaft and to his demise and death, and then you get him in Rise of Skywalker. And I don't like Return of the Jedi because the Ewoks. I like with Yoda and them, saying you got to confront Vader, like not kill him, but you got to confront Vader, or well, the Emperor's already won. And it doesn't mean forever and forever, amen, that they throw down Emperor Palpatine and he's gone. But you thought he was. So there was probably about a 30-year peace gap in there. I just like the celebration they have, everybody and dancing, and you see Ghost Obi-Wan and Yoda and Anakin, young Anakin too, when they used Hayden Christensen after the prequels, that they got him in Episode 6, Return of the Jedi. Number 2 is Phantom Menace. I love Qui-Gon Jinn, played by Liam Neeson. I like it because of the Duel of the Fates, and that's, for the most part, I love Darth Maul. Darth Maul is like one of the coolest Sith Lords, other than, well, he's not really a Sith Lord. Other than Darth Vader, I think Darth Maul's pretty badass. And everybody was on the Jedi Council, but Qui-Gon Jinn was sort of the one that was kind of disobeying the council and not really part of it, and trying to train Anakin and wasn't allowed to, and got Obi-Wan to train him. So, and then number 1 for me is Revenge of the Sith. I just love that part action in it, and it's tragic, and it's dark. It's probably the most realistic way a movie could end, because yeah, you end it good, the fairy tale version of everything, and everything's fine. And with the Phantom Menace, the second one, people complain about Jar Jar Binks. I like Jar Jar Binks. He's mysterious when you watch it, because I think Jar Jar knows a little bit more than he leads on. And the battle between, the head honchos of each light and dark, of Yoda and Palpatine, and then intertwined between Anakin and Obi-Wan, and it's sad. It's like when Obi-Wan leaves Anakin there, and he's like, "You were the chosen one. You were supposed to bring balance to the Force and destroy the Sith, not join them." So for me, I love Revenge of the Sith. It's got so much to do in the amount of time that it does, and it connects everything. So for me, that's my list. And let me know what your list is. Let me know below how you feel about all the Star Wars movies, and hopefully I get the new Star Wars game. Can't remember what it was called. Fallen Order, that's what it's called. Anyways, Happy New Year, guys, and hope you like my list. Until next time, see you guys, and Happy New Year.